to you by Puffin.
The Kid Who Fell Through Time.
Written and read by
Me, Greg James.
and me, Chris Smith.
The past is a foreign country. They have really interesting cheese there.
Marge. Chapter 1. When in Rome. Angus had never been very interested in history until he visited it by accident one Tuesday night.
Sorry, what?
Yes, you heard that correctly. Something interesting happened on a Tuesday night. Amazing, we know. Nothing good ever normally happens on a Tuesday, but this particular Tuesday, against all odds, something did. We strongly suggest you listen on and find out all about it. Ready?
Yes, let's go.
With a furious roar, the Roman soldier unsheathed his sword and ran full tilt towards Angus, with a murderous look in his eyes.
No, that's not quite right. I think we've gone too far forward. Chris, rewind a bit.
Okay. Angus leapt into the air with fright, as the rumbling noise behind him grew to a deafening volume and a shrill voice cried, "Look out!"
No. It's still not quite right. This is the problem with telling a story about travelling through time, isn't it? It's very difficult to know the best place to begin.
Yeah, you see, some of this story takes place in the present day. Some of it takes place far, far in the future, when our books are rightly hailed as classics.
Hey, thank you.
And a lot of it takes place in the very distant past. So we do need to be careful to get things in the right order, or it won't make any sense. Perhaps we better start with something incredibly boring, just to set the scene before we get to the laser guns and the ancient Egyptians and the other really cool stuff. Let's open the story with some history homework.
Okay.
So, here is our hero, Angus Roberts, sitting down one Tuesday night to do his history homework. Angus wasn't very interested in history, but it was a bit more than that. History was his absolute least favourite subject at school. He simply couldn't get his head around why he had to learn all this stuff. Angus just couldn't understand why anyone was bothered about what Queen Boudica, to pluck a name out of thin air, had done to some random Romans hundreds of years ago. It all just seemed like lists of dusty, mouldy old facts and dates to Angus. It was very hard to imagine these were real people. To make things even worse, his history teacher was very keen on getting her students to stand up and present their work in front of the whole class. And if there was one thing that Angus hated more than history, it was presentations. Standing up to deliver a speech in front of his schoolmates made his legs feel like they'd been replaced with half-deflated balloon animals. This particular night, he'd been struggling with a piece of history homework that he found so baffling and ridiculous it made him want to scream. With his pen poised at the top of a blank sheet of paper, he read the question again as the daylight faded outside his bedroom window. How do you think ordinary people in Britain would have felt about the Romans in the years after the invasion? Imagine a conversation with one of them. What might they say? Have the Romans made their life better or worse? It's time to use your imagination. The homework had been set earlier that day by his teacher, Miss Bancroft. She was friendly and funny and very keen on bringing history to life for her students. But however hard Miss Bancroft tried, history just would not come to life for Angus. Something inside his brain simply refused to be interested in things that had happened hundreds of years ago. What was the point? He shook his head slowly and stared out of the window across the darkening garden. Roman Britain. He snorted with frustration. Who cared what some long-dead villager thought about some long-dead Romans? What could it possibly matter to him now, today? It's not even like they're real people, he thought to himself angrily. They're just piles of bones somewhere deep underground. Who cares what they felt or thought? It's all gone forever. A small whimpering noise
Sample complete. Ready to continue?